Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Raw Radiant Health, and I'm Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I decided that I want to talk a little bit about our relationship with food, and specifically I want to talk about fear of food, because I've noticed that there's so much information out there and a lot of confusing information. You can't blame anyone for being confused, because one day you hear that something's great for you and then the next day you hear from someone else that it's terrible. And so it's really hard, and even if you're following like a raw food diet, I've heard from a lot of people that are, suddenly they're hearing like, oh, nuts are bad or too much fruit is bad, and then people start getting confused, like, should I be cutting this out? Should I be limiting this? And so the next thing you know it, the more information you're getting, the more confused you are, and the more that you're no longer enjoying what you're eating, but you're scared of what you're eating, or you become super controlling about every little thing you put into your mouth. And this is not good. This is not healthy, and it's not a good way to be living your life, because ultimately to live a healthy life means to be living a happy life and to be enjoying everything that you're doing and not feeling guilty and not being worried and not being like a control freak, because that just brings you to restriction and unhappiness, deprivation, and ultimately misery. So I just want to be a little bit clear, and this is my point of view, okay? And so you can take what you want out of it. My view is that if someone's starting out on a raw diet, whether it's 100% or a high raw diet or a whole foods diet, that you got to be just happy with what you're adding in, and what you're doing. Because in the beginning it's such a big change that already it's a big change that's what you're going through, and that's what you're concentrating on, is just getting in real fresh food into your diet. And then after a while, you become comfortable with your diet, and then suddenly you start hearing all this information, and it's like, oh, I've got to change things even more. And what ends up happening is that we forget where we came from, that, a few months ago or a few years ago, we were eating fast food, or we're eating a lot of junk, or we're living off of coffee, or, and jonesing on sugar all day. We forget where we've come from. And I think that's one thing, when we start getting confused, to start reminding yourself, once upon a time, I used to eat this, this, and that, and look at me now. And already that's a huge leap. I know for myself, I was addicted to sugar. I ate tons of junk food, and I went on to a raw food diet. So the moment that I start looking at my raw food diet and being am I eating too much fruit, or should I be limiting the fats, the nuts and the seeds and the oils? I have to say, stop, wait a minute, already this is major, that I'm living off of natural food. Because I think before anyone gets confused and feels like they need to change their diet, or that they need to be eliminating something for some reason, I think you have to first evaluate your diet and evaluate your own health, because what works for one person might not work for another. We've all have different backgrounds. We all live in different parts of the world with different climates, different agriculture, different lifestyles, different ways of life, different livelihoods, different family settings, everything. And everything contributes to our health. So before we say, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this, and I'm gonna add more of that, and I'm gonna change my diet over yet again, I think that you have to first stop and say, okay, is what I'm doing right now, is it working for me? And that's how you know, if what you're taking in, whether it's a lot of fruit or a great deal of nuts and seeds, if you have energy, if your mood is stable, if you're sharp and clear, if you're sleeping well, if you're able to exercise and feel fit, if you're not carrying around an extra load of heavy weight, then I'd say it's working for you, whatever you're doing. But if you feel that like you need to be taking a nap throughout the day, you feel that like, you know, either you're still carrying around too much weight or you're underweight, you know, things like that, or if you're not able to concentrate, if your moods are erratic, one moment you're happy, the next moment you're sad, you know, those kind of things, if those things are happening, then it's time to evaluate and see what's going on, because maybe something's not working. Maybe your body's not processing things at the peak level it could. So in a general sense of what I'm trying to say is that I truly believe, and today I just want to talk very generally about this, and then I will go into, in the future, more about the pros and cons of a higher fruit diet or a higher fat diet. But today I just want to talk generally. And I guess what I want to conclude with is that if this is like your first 6 months, your first year, or your first even like 2 years on a raw diet, eat what you want to eat. Don't get caught up in, you know, all these rules and regulations, because already it's a huge and great thing what you're doing of like putting in fresh, whole, organic fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds into your body. That is amazing. You know, anything is better than that burger at that fast food restaurant. And so I just, you know, it's like, use your time and your energy to adjust your lifestyle and get used to this, and to be creative with it, enjoy it, and have fun with it, and make some fabulous food, and not get worried about, you know, all the little rules and regulations that are floating around, because you know what, they change all the time. And I think one thing that I've noticed is that if you read a lot of like a lot of research and a lot of testimonials of people that have reversed all sorts of diseases and stuff, you know, they use many different modalities. You know, one person's going to say, you know, one guy who drank all his carrot juice for years and was able to reverse something with that. And then another person's going to say, never go near carrot juice because it's full of sugar. So, you know, what's going on here? So when it comes down to it, is every body is different. And I just want to stress that if you're in the beginning of your like raw food journey, just chill out, have fun. Don't get caught up in the rules. But if you do notice, like, you know, something is not working, you're not feeling very well, then change things around and experiment. But just remember that, like, there are no set rules. And the one thing I've experienced with myself is that things have changed, you know, like, things change from season to season. I mean, I live in Canada, so what I'm eating in the summer is completely different than what I'm eating in the winter. In the summer, I eat high fruit. And winter comes along, I don't eat much fruit, and I'm eating more nuts and seeds. This is just how it goes. And, you know, that's me, but I know that, like, over the winter when I went down to the tropics, I went right back into fruit, and I was fine. Things change because of my environment. And things also change because of your lifestyle, the amount of stress you're under, or if you're not under any stress at all, that too, it contributes greatly. And also your fitness, like what if you're, you know, getting any exercise in, or if you're getting a lot of exercise in too, like all these things play a role. And so that's what I want to leave you today. It's just a little general, enjoy your food, enjoy what you're doing, have fun with it, be creative. And so on that note, I'm going to wish you guys a fabulous, fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow.